How was your week?
Oh, it was really good. I spent it with my mom.
Okay.
I think I mentioned that, my sister went out of town and my mom's been recovering from this really horrific fall. Yeah. And while I was there, since I'm the type of person who can't sit still, I went through all her stuff. And we did. It was great.
Magnanimous
yeah,
way.
what's really funny, I was like saying, is I said, and I'm like, I know. Okay, like. Everyone probably has this. Now, mind you, should probably do this with your sex toys too. We got to go, things, make sure they're not touching and they're all clean and stuff like that. But I'm short and I have these really tall cabinets in my bathroom. And when I went through it, I found like the snot suckers from my daughter's 17 from, when she was a baby. So I know the concept of out of sight, out of mind.
Oh, yeah.
And if I'm going to be, I went through all that and we're sorting through stuff. I found a Screaming O water bottle, which is great. We got from one of the shows, right? And one of the things we do. I decided I'm bringing it home, but I told my daughter she can't bring it to school or bring it anywhere until she's 18. She goes, yeah, that would go over real well at school, Mom. Like,
right.
But it's red, and the senior class colors are red. And she's like, her and her friends were just, like, oh, geez. And then they were laughing at the same time.
We're all good. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
We won't do it, yeah. And it was just a lot of fun. So I felt really good about getting that done. I hit the state fair and ate myself silly. It's just been... What
was your best thing you had?
Well, actually, I had the one of the booths, Farmers Union, they had a BLT that had some sort of corn on it, sweet corn on it, and some focaccia, and it was just in the tomatoes, and I could have eaten about a dozen of those.
Really?
Yeah, it was spectacular. I know some people think that place is the evil incarnate, but we went on a rainy day. It wasn't that busy, and it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, but I also go in a small group. I don't go, if it's honestly more than 3 people, I don't understand how people do that.
No.
I would sometimes meet up with people, but then we veer off. I can't, and then we point at our friends' fair entries. It's a very important thing. I have friends that entered stuff. They got blue ribbons and stuff like that. So we go and we point at it and we take selfies. It's become like this thing. You have to go point and take a selfie with your friend's fair entry. So it's just an extra added fun really, the Minnesota State Fair is an amazing thing, and it's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing that I had was a Juanitas fajita. I got one of their carnita fajitas. Mm-hmm. It was very good, and I'm picky, so I was impressed. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I have 2 state fair things. One, the huge cheese curd booth that was always by the grandstand is not there anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they moved, or do you know anything about?
No, see, not being able to eat cheese anymore.
Okay,
I can't go through there.
I need to look up what happened.
Yeah, because I tended to go into the food building.
Okay.
To get that once going, going through there. Okay. But is that the one? I think Big Fat Bacon may have moved into it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so what happened to the giant cheese curd place?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, I saw the B-52s in Culture Club.
I had a crap ton of friends there for that, and it's just with the big paper wigs and all, just having a good old time.
Oh my God!
Did you feel like you were in your 20s again?
High school.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, because
it would have been early 80s for high school. Yeah,
they went on, but yeah, they oh my God, it was a great show. And you know what I didn't realize is a couple things. One, Kate Pearson of the B-52s is 70. Mm-hmm. I did not know that she was that old, and she's older than the other 2 by far, by like 9 years. So and she can still. They opened with "She Came from Planet Claire," and you got whatever, and she can still do it. I was like, whoa. And then the other thing that I noticed, Culture Club was fantastic. Mm-hmm. And, I've never had the pleasure of seeing them live before. George O'Dowd, a.k.a. Boy Fucking George, as he called himself on stage, so funny. He is underrated as a singer.
Oh, no.
He's the real deal. In live, I mean, he was...
Yeah, because he's our age, a little bit older, and he's still belting that. There was no lip syncing at that show.
Oh, hell no. No. Mm-hmm. And he opened with David Bowie's Let's Dance, and he nailed it. He nailed it. He was really good. So that was super fun.
So it was a good week. So I'm hoping it was a good week, in stuff that, is actually under the purview of the show of the Great Northern Sex Cast here.
Let's start with a fried penis. A deep fried penis, shall we?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I should not be laughing. I should not be laughing at this.
No.
He's going to be okay. Let me just start like that so that Colleen can open her eyes and stop
I know. I'm
She's freaking out. And again, you know how like people are against e-cigarettes? Oh, no e-cigarettes or vaping or smoking or whatever. Hilariously, for as anti-smoking as I am, I don't mind. I don't understand what all the fuss is about vaping. Like I really,
well, it's the same chemicals. It's still not good for you. But what the hell?
If somebody wants, as long as it's like cigarette smoke drives me crazy, but vape doesn't bother me. So it's like whatever. Anyway, so this poor dude named Mohammed Zaid Abdidi suffered severe burns to his legs and privates after his vape blew up while he was shopping. 24-year-old was captured on the store's surveillance camera. He was trying to buy a TV, poor thing, and he was measuring the TV, like sizing it up, and all of a sudden he felt a shock in his pocket, and the device basically blew up. And
so these are battery powered, right?
I think so.
So is this sort of like the
cell phone thing?
The cell phones or the rolly things that people stand on, the kids' toys? They were the hoverboards or whatever it has. Yeah, batteries are dangerous.
Yeah. Well, this guy. So, he was on the floor and he was in a ton of pain. The store manager, this happened in California. The store manager says, we turn around and we see smoke and we're trying to figure out what's, going on fire. He said, the poor gentleman, he was screaming and yelling. All of his right leg was burnt all the way down and part of his privates were affected by the whole fire thing. And he said it was so scary because we have boxes in here and the whole place could have gone up. It's an industrial area. I mean, they're all like, they're all being very serious, and I'm just like cracking up at this whole thing. I'm sorry. I hope he feels better, but
just things spontaneously combusting, batteries and stuff like that. I'm just, I bet you anything they're going to say you can't bring like vaping stuff on the plane now or do something, because if they start having these things catching on fire, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem for sure. Yeah, we've got an airplane story coming up here in a minute. And the whole thing is so non sequitur, but we'll get. Well,
okay. You
know what? Let's just do it right.
We're gonna dive. We're gonna dive into the airplane.
We're gonna go to the airplane story because I brought it up, and now.
Well, you should through there. Okay. So, have you ever been to the Miami airport?
No.
Okay, on my last trip to Mexico, we had a layover in Miami, and from Miami, we get there, and we have to go to Terminal Zillion, okay? And it's way at the end, and then there's an escalator down, and then it was the 1970s. There was a section of the Miami airport that is still in the 70s. There were still payphones along the wall. The only thing that was different, the carpeting looked like from the 70s. Remember, the seats looked like from the 70s. The desks looked like from the 70s. The only thing that didn't look like from the 70s is the fact that they had flat screen monitors. You had to walk out and then upstairs to get to the plane. They didn't have, jetways. It was. I'm looking around and I'm like, does anyone else do it? I kept looking for one of those time portals at the escalator, anything. Okay, so it's the 1970s, still at this one section of the Miami airport.
Okay, cool. I gotta check out Miami. So we've talked about this this airline before. Funny, it's called EasyJet. Which, okay, I know, right? That's kind of...
Is that like easy cheese? I'm sorry, whenever I hear easy, all I think of is spray can cheese, which, by the way, is not bad on a road trip.
Or men?
No, it's spray can. You put it in a little bugle and you make a little... It's road trip food. That's just for my friends. Okay, sorry.
Okay,
well, sorry. Speaking of not sequiturs. Actually, did I? Oh, yeah, all I've had is coffee. Okay. I can, yeah. Yeah, I have not.
Let's see.
There was no food today. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. This could be interesting.
So the headline on this was Brits brawl after woman gives lap dance on plane. Okay, so what do those two things have to do with each other?
How? Okay. There's no room.
Well, two things. Number one, what is fighting? Why would a lap dance incite a riot? And they never do explain it. I'm going to warn you right now that you are going to leave this feeling very unsatisfied. Okay?
Oh, no. Yeah, there has to. Oh, okay.
So there's footage showing a group of passengers on a plane from Luton to Ibiza pushing and shoving as tempers flare after it was claimed that a woman had been just doing cartwheels down the aisle. This is after. So it's unclear why the cartwheels led to, that was the last, apparently she was drunk and giving lap dances to strangers, took her boobs out, the whole 9 yards, but it wasn't until the cartwheel started.
Pre-Ibiza party here. She started way, way, way in advance.
Yeah. And so in a statement, EasyJet said that they can confirm that a group of passengers were escorted off of flight EasyY2095 on August 2nd by police on arrival as a result of behaving in a disruptive manner. The safety and the welfare of our passengers and crew is EasyJet's highest priority.
Okay, so we either have someone was pissed because
it was
their girlfriend or wife that was giving other people stuff like that, and they started hassling her, and then someone decided you can't hassle her, or someone was angry that they didn't get a lap dance.
Yeah.
Or maybe she gave bad lap dance. There really are a lot of possibilities.
But they don't tell you. So in my opinion, that is shoddy reporting.
But the cartwheels, actually, maybe she kicked people in the head during the cartwheels.
That could be.
Because, you have to be one hell of an excellent cartwheeler if you're going to be not smacking folks, on an airline.
Can I just say, if she had her boobs loose, like cartwheels with no bra does not sound like fun to me.
No, I've never managed a cartwheel in my life.
Really?
Oh, God, no. It was hilarious. And after one point, you just get too old to attempt to try this without killing yourself. So we're done. I will never, it's not on a bucket list. It will never be, it's no. I am fine. I'm letting that go. I'm coming to peace with that. Plus, I'm also coming to peace with the fact that I will never finish Moby Dick. I have tried. I'm an avid reader. I cannot read that thing. Okay.
Well, okay. Speaking of reading, great typo in Suffolk, England. They had proofed the menu, and then it came back with hot dog and bum on the children's menu.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I would have. There would have been. Let's say the drinks came, and you get all that. You're sitting down. You pass out some crackers to the kids or their crayons, and then you take a look at it. And at that point, if you had any beverage anywhere near you, it would have been right out my nasal passages.
Indeed. Well, and you have to imagine the comments I'm about to share with you stated in a British accent, because it makes it 10 times funnier, because the way that they say things. And he says, well, obviously it was humorous, but because it was in the kids menu, I thought surely they've noticed this. And then the other one says, I don't fancy ordering the hot dog if it's going to come like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They had to stop sending out their flyers because it was on there too.
Oh, yeah.
So they've just had a printing debacle.
Well, because I've looked at stuff and I've had other people look at it, and you know what it's supposed to say.
Yeah.
You just don't see it.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating. Whereas I, on the other hand, see inappropriate words even when they're not there. Almost, 30 years of this.
Well, yeah. You would be a bad proofer for stuff like that. Oh, yeah. For sure. So I read this story, and I had to include it in here because people, I should not be amazed anymore, but I am. Did you hear?
No, keep the amazement. Okay. It makes life more fun.
Okay. Did you hear about the woman who canceled her wedding because her guests wouldn't pay $1,500 a head?
I ran across that the other day, and I'm like, is this an Onion article?
I know.
And I'm just like, oh my God. I just straight up asking folks to contribute $1,500 a piece. This wasn't even a destination wedding. I was like, oh my God. It's just fascinating. Wedding is not something that is also not on my bucket list. I'm not worried about it, but I've been involved in many of them. I have a closet still full of dresses, I just keep for the entertainment value of them and the memories. But no, I just that's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, she wanted. She also dumped her husband to be. She wanted a $60,000 wedding, and so when he couldn't provide it, she tried to get it out of her guests. Her friends weren't really down with that, and so she went on this huge rant that's gone viral. She had $15,000 saved up, but she needed the rest of it. And she said, "Well, since our love was like a fairy tale, we wanted an extravagant blowout wedding." And
I don't think there was any we there.
Probably not. All we asked was for a little help from our friends and family to make this happy. And so they went. Her fiance tried to get her to go to Vegas instead, and she ended up dumping him. And she's shut down her social media. My God, what an idiot!
I sometimes wonder. I mean, 15 years from now, you Google this woman's name. I mean, this is still going to show up. I mean, do people have to change their names? I mean, is there going to be like a lucrative business in name changing?
That's
when people do this shit.
Yeah.
Whether it's Barbecue Betty or whatever, any of these folks that are. I mean, now with the cell phones and with the media and social media and people just being nothing is tiny anymore.
No.
It's funny. We're getting close to 190 some shows or something like that. It never goes away.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it just, to go, by the way, thanks everyone. Yeah. I've been looking at the totals and different things and going through there. And when I finally figured out how to shoot it out to the entire world, like SoundCloud and besides just Spreaker and Twitter and YouTube. And I'm like, oh, you can send it here. You can send it here. It's fun. It's fun. But it's there. It is not going away. It seems to be a reasonable thing to understand. This isn't 30 years ago when people just started doing a blog or doing something, the stuff is just stored forever.
Yeah.
I mean, or at least, enough lifetimes, who knows, when we manage to blow ourselves up, it'd be gone. But, by then, who cares?
Yeah.
But
pretty soon it's going to be on blockchain. So there's never going to be any way to change it. So, yeah. No, there really isn't now. And here's another one for the record books. So jealousy, this girl named Amy Docker.
Oh, for a second I thought her name was Jealousy.
No. Oh. No, that's a Gin Blossom song. She started
probably would be spelled with a G. Sorry, I'm just
no.
I'm going to
just
fine. Okay.
They that'd be a horrible name to saddle somebody with. But then again, there's so many out there. But anyway, that just makes me think of that chick that just got convicted of espionage, reality winner, and she's in jail for 25 years. That doesn't sound like a winning proposition to me.
No.
But anyway, this chick starts dating a guy, and I guess 6 months or so they've been together. And there's this like chat room, and his ex was in there unbeknownst. Like she didn't mean to be in there with the guy's new girlfriend. Totally not interested in him anymore. But the new girlfriend is jealous and gets obsessed, which, we hear these stories. This is not new. It's just there's so many more ways to have it, like you just said, publicized.
Yep.
And to do things. So she basically was sending her all these horrible texts. The problem is this chick, this Amy Docker, this jealous chick, works in a hospital. So she decided to access her medical records. Ooh. So now she has there's a formal HR investigation. I'm surprised she's not fired. Like that.
Well, there's probably some, I don't mind some steps, versus just, just firing someone. Because, you just can't have, someone just saying something and they're gone. But, yeah, I don't think this is going to end well.
Yeah, no, I don't either. And I think that kind of a breach of privacy is truly hideous. So on August 26th was the Topless March for Gender Equality in New York. Go Topless Day. We've talked about this. Have you heard about it?
Yeah. So a lot of people do. There's several different ones. I think the closest thing we get here is Naked Transit Day. Don't you write? Or something like that. And then there's there's a run or a bike ride down Nicollet Avenue and stuff like that. I just, I'm not the hugest boobed woman in the world, but I'm not the tiniest boobed woman in the world. So I'd like a little support.
Yeah.
I really don't want them flopping around.
Yep. Yeah, this is really all about the fact that it's not considered obscene for guys to be shirtless, and it is for women. And they had shirts like "Free the nipple," "Your body's not a mistake," "Let's make the body normal again."
Oh yeah, that women's areolas and are obscene, but men's areolas are perfectly fine. It's the same damn thing.
I know.
They're just one is attached to milk ducts and another one is not.
Yep. This has been going on, by the way, since, for 11 years. So there's also events held in the Netherlands, Germany, Canada, France, Chile, and South Korea. And, it's just interesting because, states like Utah and Indiana, for example, if you do flash your nude female breasts, you could be arrested for disorderly conduct. I don't know. It is weird.
It's just a power thing, make people, there's nothing. And I'm pretty sure that it comes up, human bodies are not obscene. Yeah. They're not. I refuse to believe, Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is kind of funny. So there was a thread that started going after male authors who make stupid mistakes about when writing about women, and so they were talking about things that they had read that were so. One person said, "Hey, you need to describe tights as itchy instead of sexy," and pretty much nobody can run in heels. Just FYI.
Oh, yeah. I love that one.
Yeah.
I see that, at least just heels in general. I mean, I'm jealous. I can't wear them anymore.
Yeah.
I owned the absolute most amazing heel collection at one point until I busted my ankle. I mean, just stunning. I have a pair of Stuart Weitzman that honestly, I felt the sexiest in whenever I wore them. I've got rid of everything. I kept this pair of shoes. I can't get rid of them. I had some of the most stunning shoes, and I can't. But no, I walked really well in them. I was good in heels, but I walked. There was not even fast walking. There
were many, many people complaining about fictional heroines that wear nothing but stilettos and jog everywhere. They talked about the removal of the bra being a moment of relief rather than a signal for sex. This one cracks me up. Hair does not usually cascade when being taken out of an updo.
No, it's sort of stuck there. I've lopped off my hair 20 years ago, but I remember that. And there are just times sometimes when I'm like, no, the bra has got to come off. I don't even wear underwire. I mean, I wear some of the most comfortable bras in the world, but I still at one point I'm like, this has to come off now. The only noise I've ever heard that is more release and happy is when my friends would remove their dance belts because they were wearing tights for a costume. Oh yeah, and they would take that dance belt off, and that was just it was the happiest, most relieved as the boys were, and everything was set free.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. High-heeled shoes don't become flats if you break the heels off.
Yeah.
They want to point that out. Nail polish does take a very long time to dry. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Another one was taking off your specs doesn't make you more beautiful, just short-sighted. She said, yeah, if we whip off our glasses, we don't become gorgeous fashion models. We become squinty. And somebody else talks about boobs not always being perky. They don't just stand there like they're waiting for the freaking bus.
No. There. I read some of these things, and it just, and the older I get, the less suspension of disbelief I can put into some of this shit.
Yeah, because I just more jaded as a reader.
Because I just look at it and I go, "You have got to be kidding me," which is probably one of the reasons I don't read a lot of fiction anymore. I keep picking it apart.
Yeah,
I can't really. I mean, I read
with movies.
I read. I mean, I could.
That's funny.
Same thing. I mean, that's why I tend to read a lot of nonfiction, a lot of memoirs, history, stuff like that, because it just doesn't. I read something and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. No. Or I go back to I have a friend that does young adult fiction and some different things, and I've never been a science fiction person because I'm always like, I can't get myself into that world, but I've got some folks that do some fantasy versus the science fiction. I can sort of get into that because I can drop into the world a bit. But if it's about adults, then I start picking it apart again. Young adult that's nice and fluffy. I can get into that.
Yeah, funny. No, it's hilarious that you say that because I will sit there and edit movies. And then when a movie's over, I'll sit there and figure out like how much of it could have been absolutely cut because it was too long. Because I can't.
Well, do you ever watch an old movie and then you realize that if cell phones had existed, the movie's over in 5 minutes?
Yeah. I know, right? It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It is. So this is interesting. Honestly, I don't know a lot about Russia culture, society, or whatever, really what goes on there, honestly. But they do apparently have a kind of like whatever watches their advertising, kind of like what we do here. So we would have the FCC and things like that. They have the Federal Anti-Monopoly Service. But, so there's this billboard. And there was a flurry of complaints about a construction ad using an image of a petite woman measuring her chest to advertise small prices and lots of complexes. Okay. So they said that the officials agreed with claims that the advert body shamed women, but they said that women's small breasts were in fact physical defects. So this was an official, the FAS, and they ruled that they used an offensive image of women, but they did call small breasts a defect. And so now anti-sexism bloggers are speaking up and, all of that. But a physical defect. They slam the ad, but then they turn around and do something probably worse than what the ad was doing.
Jesus.
I mean, I didn't even know that. Yeah, I don't know how Russia works. Actually. I can't. We've talked about Burning Man before. Have you ever been?
No. That holds Zippo appeal for me, even when I was younger. Okay. That just no.
Too much?
It just too many porta potties.
Yeah.
Too much dirt.
Yes.
And just too many people. See, I'm a caretaker.
Okay.
So if I see dumb shit, I'm going to want to take care of the dumb shits.
Oh God, you'd lose your mind.
Yeah, I can't.
That's hilarious. No. That's very self-aware of you.
No, yeah. I'm also rather bossy. So the combination, there's a reason. I know I want what I want, and that would be too big and too unorganized, and it would drive me insane.
I don't really like outdoor festival type things either. Not even music. I'm like, not so much. But if you don't know what Burning Man is, it's coming up. It's out in the Nevada desert, and God, it's huge. It's this huge thing, and they're the people that attend this are called burners, and they come literally from all over the world. This whole thing started out in 1986, and they had over 70,000 people last year calling it this thing.
I can't imagine. I mean, I get the concept. You go out, you commune with your fellow people who like to just be whoever you are, but that is way too many people in one spot.
It's a 9
I can't even imagine the damage they do to the area.
Yeah. And in case you know, it's 270 miles from San Francisco, $400 for the 9-day, what's called arts extravaganza. And a lot of car crashes, drug use, but they have these different camps. So I'd like to highlight a few in case you've never. Okay. And at the end of it, they burn a giant effigy of a man. That's why it's called the Burning Man. Okay. So this headline, we bent over while a man painted our butts. So this was body painting, and she's a 58-year-old aerial skills teacher. She lives in Gig Harbor, Washington, and she went and just pulled her pants down and let a guy paint on her ass. She said her camp is called Hippocampus. They have about 75 people in there, and they are planning to check out the Orgy camp this year. So another guy, 26-year-old glass blower from Tacoma, he's like, yeah, I'm working on a 5-story building, but I bring my glass blowing to this and give lessons. But you see everything. And he says, one time I saw a guy dressed as a unicorn with a big dildo on his forehead. Other people are just naked. I would like to see a dildo on the forehead unicorn costume. Women riding bikes topless. Topless. And they come up with different names. So they have Madonna and Moscow mules, where they pay all the Madonna hits and they serve Moscow mules to people.
I mean, it does. I mean, if you're able to just yeah, speaking of suspension of disbelief, if you're able to just like go and be that relaxed, or if you like camping, stuff like that, I think it would be awesome. I can't do that.
No. I don't camp.
No, there's no camping.
This one reminds me of something I actually saw at the state fair. The headline on this one says, one girl lifted up her skirt to show us her pubic hair. So she came up to get a drink. A guy came up and he had a handlebar mustache. She turned and she said, "Oh my gosh, I love your mustache. It's just like mine." And she lifted up her skirt and she had waxed handlebar pubic hair.
Okay, that's hilarious.
That
takes a bit of work, and you're sort of doing it upside down and reverse too. So I was going through there, and then
yeah. So speaking of hair, and I'm not judging, but I think this is a definite reveal about how you're raised in a certain time, and it doesn't matter about attitudes. It's kind of like you develop a preference and whatever. This girl, younger gal, probably later 20s, I would guess. And she wasn't dressed in an outfit that you would necessarily expect to see what I'm about to tell you about. But she's wearing a sleeveless thing, and she had armpit hair that was billowing. I mean, in every single direction. And she went,
I didn't think it grew that long. I mean, honestly,
huge.
Some hair, like your leg hair only gets so long, and then there's a growth pattern, and then it falls out. I mean, it's not like it keeps going and you have to get in it. But armpit hair can get, she must just be something about her.
She had an afro in each pit. I was like, wow. I that was my first thought too, was I didn't know it could grow that long. And she's a natural blonde. But I'm like looking at this going, okay. And I thought to myself, that would be hot.
Yeah. I mean, I sweat a lot.
Yeah.
So the idea of having more hair to trap, the bacteria that the sweat can, then just give it a growth. And that would just be, that would be more odor than I could deal with on myself.
Yeah, I just don't need something collecting stuff in my armpit.
Yeah, yes, guys do that and stuff like that. But I'm just like, honestly, I don't understand why more guys don't shave their armpits for because it's easier to wear deodorant. I'm not worried about anti-perch, but I'm just talking about just not being so ripe. And it could be the fact that I have the world's really mutant nose. I can smell things that other people cannot. I smelled the tiniest gas leak here at the office like 15 years ago. And, I could just things that other people don't notice just drive me insane. So I don't let your leg hair be as long as you want, but I would love more armpit shaving and more deodorant.
Okay. Can I just tell you one thing that I've noticed in my life? So this girl's armpit hair was bushy and curly. Okay. And, guys, at least all that I know, theirs is like straight and soft. And maybe it's because it's never been shaved, and it always is, because that's what I've noticed. But hers was like, it was crazy. I was absolutely mesmerized by it. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And trust me, there was a lot weirder shit at the concert to see than that. But like, oh my God.
But it does. Yeah. When you see a woman who doesn't shave her legs or pits, it catches your eye.
Yeah.
Just sort of like when I see a guy that shaves everything and is shiny, it catches your, whether they're, and I'm not talking about guys that do the body competition stuff like that. We know they take off all the hair, but other ones could just still catches your eye.
Yeah. God, I just can't even imagine how long it would take to shave some of those bodybuilders. They're huge people. And it's like, God, just the square footage. Like, how long does that take?
Yeah, obviously it's got to be. They have to have a really good partner because some of that stuff you can't even reach.
Point taken. Lastly, little snippet of Burning Man here. I met a man who had a tutu custom made for his penis, completely naked apart from the tutu, walking around.
Okay, that's sort of cute.
That's pretty funny.
I'm wondering. I would think the sunscreen concession would do really well there.
I would hope so.
Because there are just certain parts for most folks that don't, and I've said this before, they don't hit the sun. I've been traveling in places where the beach was topless and stuff like that, and it was actually more comfortable to not wear a top than it was. But I'm like, I need some better sunscreen because I do not want the burned boobies.
That would hurt.
Yeah.
And I don't like sunburns. Sunburns are bad.
Oh, no. When you forget the top of your feet.
Oh, that's bad too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I just didn't need the top of the boob. And then if you don't have the suit on, then it's not lifted up. So then you're going to get like these weird half circles, unless you hang down. I mean, how do you stand there and lift your boobs up to get the sun underneath?
For the audience's benefit, Colleen is moving things around to try to figure out how this would work.
I'm trying to figure out how this works,
We haven't sorted it out yet. Disney Goes Dirty party for swingers coming up in Newcastle, England. $33. Dress up as Minnie Mouse, Mickey, Donald Duck, whatever turns your crank.
When I was recently down at Disney World, I saw quite a few dresses that I'm looking at for grown women that were, it wasn't like they were like full-size Belle costumes, but they were like little mini dresses and little things. And I'm looking at some stuff and I'm like, is this a nightgown? Is this a dress? When would one wear this? So this must be where one. Now I have an answer.
Disney's selling it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I was actually quite fascinated by some of the items.
Yep. They're gonna have a prize for the best dressed. And it does kind of sound somewhat hilarious, but 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. And I mean, I just think it would be funny to see a bunch of crazy people fucking in Disney wear.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are quite a few costume companies out there that make knockoff costumes. They don't call them Belle and Snow White and stuff like that, but that's obviously what they are. Sure. Now, I don't sell that stuff anymore because all the little pop-up Halloween companies have completely decimated that business for stores like mine. But I look at some of the stuff and I'm like, well, it's made. I mean, and they come in tiny little sizes because I don't know who they're actually made for. I can't figure it out. But now I think it makes a little bit more sense.
I would bet that's a good fantasy.
If you have your Snow White fantasy or your Belle fantasy or your Jasmine fantasy, it's out there.
Pocahontas.
Yep.
Menopause in the animal kingdom. Check this out. There's a new study published in Scientific Reports noting that menopause is not a distinctly human condition. Scientists have now discovered 2 more species that experience it and live beyond it, bringing the total number to 5. So the non-human species that go through menopause are all toothed whales. But belugas and narwhals do now join the killer whales and short-finned pilot whales on the list. And So the sea creatures, they're not talking about anything in the gorilla or gibbon, orangutan, chimpanzee family? They're talking about...
Okay, I am flabbergasted by that.
Yeah.
But if you're in the water, the hot flash has got to be easier.
Well, for sure. It does say here a little bit further down in the piece, which we'll post on Great Northern Sexcast Facebook, if you're wondering about primates, most animals, those closest to us on the evolutionary tree, can get pregnant essentially up until the very end.
Wow.
So, but check this out. This is kind of interesting. There has to be an evolution reason for them to stop reproducing and stay living on. When it comes to whales, it's because these females know how to find food, and it's an education of.
And I know some of them help birth too. There's like nanny. Like doulas.
Yep. Yeah, isn't that funny?
I saw a whale give birth.
Did you really?
Yep.
Where?
I was in Hawaii. I think on Maui, and I was traveling by myself years ago before I was a parent.
Okay.
And we see that there are whales. And so, we get up from the pool and we go look over the cliff because it's a pretty high cliff and everyone's got their cocktails and there's a whale. And then there's this gush of red. And then there were 2 whales. And we go, that whale just gave birth.
That's amazing.
It was absolutely freaking fascinating. I was just thrilled.
That's amazing.
And I was like, and it was just, and we're way up on this because I'm like, that looks tiny. I bet it's not.
Sure.
Because we're probably 8-10 stories up on this cliff, and it was just, we're looking down and it was like, is that, there was just like, everyone standing there for cocktails going, did we just see what we think?
Yeah, everybody probably had to double check with each other.
Yeah, it was pretty fascinating.
So we've got a couple of people that are, have been dubiously in the news lately. Papa John Schnatter, who was the former CEO, who had to step down because he was alleged to have used the N-word. They've put someone else in his place, a guy named, I think it's Steve Ritchie. And now there's a SavePapaJohns.com site. Now he's trying to unseat Ritchie and saying Ritchie's guilty of sexual misconduct. And it's like, you know, when stuff like that happens, why doesn't everybody go out and try to use classy tactics to rebuild your own life rather than to keep stirring the proverbial pot? If you did something, you had to move. Why can't you just, if you're capable of becoming a CEO and starting a chain of something, why not say, okay, I messed up here. I'm gonna do something again and do it better, or whatever you're gonna do.
I mean, they obviously have, you know, skills.
Yeah.
You know, why are you using them to just,
they don't want you.
I haven't been paying that much attention because it just at one point here in the past, 18 months now, I have to ration, what I'm looking at. Otherwise I go into a rage.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Well, did you hear about the whole Louis C.K. thing?
Oh, I know that I saw a few things where I'm assuming that he's attempting some sort of rehabilitation or comeback.
Yeah, comeback after a sexual harassment scandal. And so he made a surprise appearance at the Comedy Cellar. And apparently, he got the majority of his laughs from men. A lot of women were just not interested in seeing him and not laughing, very uncomfortable. And he joked about the phrase clean as a whistle, which culminated in a joke about rape whistles not being clean. So he came and kind of went there. And they said, a lot of the women were quoted as saying they were uncomfortable. The whole thing was depressing, et cetera, et cetera. And, everybody's arguing now as to whether or not he should come back.
Oh, well, anyone can attempt to come back. I don't have any, I don't think there's any rules saying he can't. Judging by this, it might be a little too early.
Maybe. And again, I think it's perfectly
and it
fine.
depends on how you do it too. Yeah.
Well, and I think this is the era of voting with your feet. Support, patronize, watch, read, listen to, buy what you support and don't.
Yeah. And then, and also, and that's important too, because I know you're never going to agree with anyone 100%.
No.
It's going through there. And so why people are giving up 40 to 80% of what they agree with in pursuit of the perfection when they're going to get zero something else. So there's a shot, and this may not be a performer that you care to support, but someone else may screw up and you want to support them. There's no perfect. It's going through there. That's perfectly fine if other folks want to, but like I said, there's no perfection out there, but he may have just pushed it a little too early, or he needed to work on completely different material. You know what I mean? Something, a different, you just not go, I'm not sure how you do that. I'm assuming that those are probably soon going to be, like life coaches for how to get through this. PR folks that specialize in this, and maybe did not have. But it's not like he just popped out on Netflix or went on to. He did start at a club to see whether or not it. And he's like, okay, maybe not a good idea. Let's go back and figure that out. It's not like he's they're booking him all over right now.
Right.
He put his toe in. It didn't quite work.
Not so much.
Not yet.
No. Yeah. So. There was something, I had a thought, and then I lost it.
Oh, no.
I hate it when that happens.
Oh, and we didn't even walk through a door. Oh, the amount of times I wandered into the warehouse yesterday going, do anyone have any idea why the hell I'm here? I'm just, it's hilarious.
Well, can I just tell you how I started my day? I popped up, and because I heard my alarm, and I have a deadline on Wednesday morning, super early, and I jumped up, and you know how sometimes when you stand up really fast, you get lightheaded? I got up, I took about 3 steps and fell down.
Oh, Jesus.
And I went, oh, please, I hope this is not how the rest of my day is going to go. Because it was like, and luckily my knees broke. I'm going to have a bruise. This last story is freaky, and it nudges up against human trafficking.
Oh, no.
But check this out. So 21-year-old girl, she's from Hong Kong. And she was asked to play a bride in a mock wedding as part of training in order to become a wedding planner. So she was responding to kind of a call on an ad on Facebook. And they said, don't be a makeup artist. Why don't you be a wedding planner? You can make more money. So she got a week of training, and then she traveled to the Chinese province of Fujian for this mock wedding. And they ended up basically duping her into signing a real marriage certificate. And they believe that this is to get this Chinese resident, the man, the ability to apply for residency on Hong Kong by saying that he has.
That is really, really creepy. So she. Wow.
Young girl saying, "Oh, this looks like a fun career. I think I'll go try this." I'm sure there was probably some red flags, but that's terrifying. But, she traveled to a different part of the country for the so-called job. That's just scary, and I'm really sorry it happened. And,
that just seems really, strange. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of folks that would have done it without being duped.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you're just going through there. It's, hello, are you going to come up and say hi? Fred the studio dog, who's been napping the whole time, must realize that we're getting. It's like, okay, are we done now?
Yeah. Right. Well, any news for us?
No. Website's still doing really well.
Good.
I just want to thank everyone who participated in the flow drive, because that's over now. We're just really excited. So I'm sure Megan's researching something new, and we'll figure that out.
Is that kind of her thing? She decides.
Yeah. It's going through there, and I know that we're going to have folks that are involved in Crypticon. We're going to be there. We took a year off while they were reorganizing, and it's a horror science fiction horror convention, not science fiction, horror convention that takes place in Bloomington, Minnesota.
Cool.
So we'll be there, but we're pretty much just I've been taking care. I've been not as involved in the day to day a little bit as I've been taking care of my mom. But like I said, I'm still thrilled about the website. We got the thank you.
Yes,
we got the remind me of the website. If you go to the website myfantasygifts.com and you sign up for the newsletter, you will get a coupon code. And you can use you can get a coupon code, or we're also going to be using the coupon code podcast. So I know, so for the month of September, you can get 10% off your purchases on there. And so we're just trying to figure out, different ways of telling folks this is going on. And like I said, the video streaming is still there. Everything's still there. But the code word podcast or sexcast. See, this is how discombobulated I am. If podcast doesn't work, sexcast will work. One of the two. Seriously, I need to write this shit down.
So if anybody who actually puts that code in, because they went to a lot of effort, and you can send them a personal thank you note.
Yeah. So I think we decided on sexcast. Try that first.
If not, try podcast.
Oh God, I'm serious. The lack of food is really getting me today.
You're not hangry. You're just a little dingy right now.
Yeah, way dingy. Yeah.
So let's go find food.
Okay.